It's hard for everyone to start a journey of self-discovery and self-affirmation. At some point in our lives, an important part of this situation is learning to set personal limits and understand how important it is to say no. We often get stuck in the habit of putting other people's needs and wants ahead of our own. Part 2. Often, this is done at the cost of our own health and happiness. The goal of this study is to look into the dynamics behind this behavior, focusing on how important it is to know and accept our own limits. Stepping away from bad relationships or situations is something we will talk about. Not only a way to protect yourself, but also a strong sign of respect for yourself and freedom. In this paper, we will look at the different parts of this process, taking how being able to say no and keep our life on track can change everything relationship with ourselves and others, which leads to a more real and satisfying life. Before we start, make sure you're subscribed and feel free to share your thoughts in the comments while the video was playing. Let's begin. It's an interesting and usual thing for many people to dedicate the time and effort to help others, often going above and beyond what they need or what their limits are. But why does this behavior happen? It could be an attempt to feel good about yourself, a strong desire to be respected or okay then. Or maybe these people think that how they look is tied to their self-esteem, how other people see them. This worry about how other people see you too much can become a trap. If you worry too much about what other people think, you might lose who you are. You become what other people think and expect of you, as if your very existence rested on it. Part 3. On what other people think. At times, this can be very tiring and can lead to a cycle of constant chase, which means acceptance and recognition. There are many reasons why people go on this journey to find peace. Some people may not be sure of their own worth and need approval from others to feel good about themselves. Others may have grown up in places where getting love and respect meant meeting certain criteria. They think this is the only way to be loved or admired because it meets other people's expectations. But it's important to know that this constant need for praise from others can be, it was a lonely and unhappy road. It's like chasing something that's always out of reach to fill a hole inside you. Having a better bond with oneself might be the key to breaking this cycle. Learning to care about what you think and what you need. In this way, one can start down a road of greater honesty and personal growth. Being happy, where other people's views are only a small part of the whole and not the what makes someone happy and boosts their self-esteem. There are times when many of us give other people our time and energy. But why does this take place? Is it a need to feel good about yourself or a strong desire to be valued? Fourth part. When we care too much about what other people think, they can hold us hostage. Are you often in this situation? If so, I want to share a useful tip with you to get back your independence and self-worth. Walking away is the name of this approach. It might seem a bit sudden, but there are times when you need to take this step to confirm your personal power. We meet many different kinds of people in our lives. Some don't know how to respect limits, while others are too dependent or even mean and selfish. Making these people see that you're ready to leave not only makes you more independent, but also helps you take back control of your life. Walking away is more powerful because of two main things: know and having a clear sense of where you want your life to go. If other people's wants make you feel lost, or even worse, used or abused, you probably have trouble saying no to requests and don't have a clear goal. Having a clear goal shows that you value your life and the time you spend on it. This naturally keeps you away from situations where people cross your limits. Focusing on your path makes it less important to get approval from other people. Forget that walking away isn't just a physical action. It's also a way of thinking about yourself that shows respect and worth. Take this stance to send a strong message. You are in charge of your life. Thanks for taking the time to do this review. It may sound harsh to walk away, but there are times when it's the only thing that can be done. That person does to show their independence in a given situation. As we go through life, we meet a lot of different people. Chapter 5. There are interactions that last a long time and interactions that last a short time, like leaves in the wind. They're in our hearts. Every interaction, no matter how short or long, leaves its own mark on our personalities. Story. It's not always easy to decide to take a step back. Most of the time, it comes with a mix of emojis that show happiness and sadness. But we should keep in mind that taking charge of our own stories is a sign of growth and knowing yourself. When to say goodbye or close a chapter is an important skill to have when making a real and satisfying life. Other people might think this choice is selfish in some situations. However, it's an act of self-defense. We can move on from people or situations that don't fit with our ideals or goals by we make room for fresh starts and life-enriching events. This journey of self-discovery is made up of many meets and goodbyes, and each one adds to the whole, a different color to the bigger picture of our lives. Lesson 6. Even though they can be painful, these times of leaving are necessary for our growth. They show us our boundaries, what we want, and most importantly, who we really are. By sharing these thoughts, I hope to get people interested and curious, which will lead to they should see their own stories in a new way as opportunities to learn and grow. Among the different people we meet, some are hard to understand in certain ways, and knowing when to set personal limits. Some people can be too dependent on us, holding to us and expecting too much of the time and energy we have. Even though these exchanges are usually meant to be helpful, they can get tiring and throw things off. Being in a relationship. On the other hand, there are people who we might call nasty and mean-spirited. These are people who sadly see social interactions as chances to trick others and took advantage of. They can be mean to others by using sarcasm, criticism, or rude behavior to put them down for their own good, without caring about the health or happiness of others. Even though these bad exchanges are hard, they teach us important lessons. They teach us how important it is to set and stick to good boundaries. It's important for our mental and personal health to learn how to spot and deal with these kinds of people. Building up. It teaches us to stand up for what we believe in and not let other people change our minds. Treat us badly or with disrespect. By choosing to stay away from people who don't respect our. When we set limits, we send a strong message to ourselves and to them. This approach makes it very clear that we don't belong to anyone and that we have the freedom and power to pick and choose who lives in our lives. This act of pulling away is not only a way to feel good about yourself, but it's also a step toward taking back control of our health and skills. We may have chosen to keep our distance as a way to protect and keep ourselves safe. We are taking care of ourselves by staying away from toxic people and situations that drain us, of the health of our minds and hearts. We're giving ourselves more room and spending money on our own growth. It serves as a warning that we are in charge of our own happiness and peace of mind. This action can also have a big effect on people who tend to step outside the lines. Set limits. That can be a reason for them to think and a chance for them to see the effect of their behaviors and maybe even get them to change how they act. There are two main things that make walking away more powerful: being bold and to say no, and make things clear. To start, the word no is a very useful tool for setting limits. It's easy to understand, straight, and works. You make your wants, preferences, and limits clear by saying no. This act of affirming yourself is important for keeping relationships healthy and polite. As a sign of freedom, it says that you are in charge of your own decisions. Things. To say no is more than just to say no. It's an act of self-respect and self-awareness. Part 7. It lets us turn down situations that make us unhappy, demands that are too much for us, and actions that make us feel bad, that don't respect us. When used with confidence and assertiveness, this word shows that you are strong inside. Second, direction is what gets us where we want to go, both in a physical sense and in a mental one. In a symbolic way. Having a path means that you have plans, goals, and a reason for living. When you know where you want to go, it's easier to make choices and pick roads that will get you there. In line with your goals and values, having a plan helps us stay focused and avoid negative effects and distractions. No and direction work well together. No keeps us safe from outside forces we don't want, and direction keeps us on track to making our dreams and goals come true. These two ideas are very important for staying honest and going in the right direction. Is really ours. As a person, if you often give in to other people's wants, or, in the worst situations, being taken advantage of, abused, or influenced by others, this could mean that you are having a hard time in telling people no, and not having a clear plan for your life. These are red flags that need to be looked at carefully and thought about. They often can't say no because they want to please, avoid disagreement, or because we think other people's wants and needs are more important than our own. At first, this behavior might not seem harmful, but it can start a loop of not giving yourself what you want, anger and hostility, and make it easy for people to be used or attacked. On the other hand, uncertainty can lead to a lack of direction, a lack of being self-aware or being afraid to follow our real interests. If you don't have a clear goal, it's easy to let other people's wants and needs guide you. We miss the chance to live a life that is truly our own because of this. The first step to change is to become aware of these trends in your own life. It starts with building up our self-esteem and becoming more self-aware, or knowing what we really want and value in our lives. We can then start to work on being bold by learning how to say no when we need to, and we need to set and work toward our own goals and dreams. Indeed, not being able to say no and not having a clear plan for your life can make you less. Take a strong and confident stand. We are more likely to give up on our own morals and goals when they aren't rooted in them, to the wants and needs of other people. Others can tell when you're not being firm, and in some situations, unfortunately, being used. When someone doesn't seem to be going anywhere, others may feel compelled to make them, putting their own wants and needs on that person. This can happen in a subtle or obvious way, but the end effect is the same. You could end up living a life that is more shaped by what other people want and expect than by your own plans and goals. One important thing to remember is that having a plan doesn't mean being rigid. Plan, or a clear picture of what the future will be like. It means knowing what's important to you, having a reason for living, and choosing what to do that are in line with those goals and values. Direction is like an internal compass that helps you find your way through the difficulties and problems. Living. Being able to say no, on the other hand, is a way to support yourself. It means being aware of and respecting your own needs, wants, and boundaries. Saying no isn't just turning down something you don't want. It's also a statement about who you are and what's important to you. You shouldn't miss this chance if you're loving it. In Chapter 8, Get Stoicism in the 21st Century, Ancient Strategies for Modern Challenges, the ebook right now. This ebook will help you get rich, improve your relationships, and open the door to your wealth. Link in the reply that was pinned. When people see that someone isn't working toward their own goals, they may start to think that person's time is not as important as their own. This way of thinking can create a bad situation where you feel like you have to putting the wants and needs of others ahead of your own. This kind of situation not only makes your time and work less important, but it can also a process in which your own hopes and dreams are constantly pushed to the side. This relationship can be subtle, and most of the time, it's not done on purpose to hurt someone. But it makes people think that other people's needs are more important, which can lead to a pattern of poor self-care. When you spend most of your time doing what other people want, you might miss out on you have the chance to put money into yourself and your goals. This case shows how important it is to have a sense of direction and purpose. Having clear, personal goals can help you set healthy limits and make choices that are best for you. Show what's important to you. This doesn't mean avoiding other people's needs. It means finding a way to help everyone without being too much. Taking care of yourself and other people. It's also important to learn to value your own time and work. To do this, you need to know how valuable you are and how important your own goals and dreams are. People will learn to value themselves if you value yourself. People who think other people aren't as dedicated to their own goals can see that they're. Some people might think that by giving them time to meet their needs, you are, in a way, using your time well, and helping them is what they want. This point of view is flawed because it only considers how much your time and work are worth, within the framework of how it can help others, not how it will make you feel. And growth as a person. This way of thinking can make you think that your worth is directly connected to how well you do something. That you should be useful to others instead of recognizing your own worth. This way of thinking not only makes your own goals and wants seem less important, but it can also make you feel bad about your own self-worth and unhappy with your life. It's important to remember that helping other people is just one of many ways to make good use of your time. Going after your own goals is another way to see the real value of your time. Taking care of yourself or just doing things that make you happy and content. By committing yourself fully and on purpose to a personal goal, you are doing a trip of deep self-appreciation. This commitment shows not only a clear understanding of objectives, but also to remind you that your time and life are valuable. 19. When you stand this way, you send a strong message to yourself and those around you that every minute is valuable and should be used in a way that makes sense. Making the choice to live with a clear purpose changes how other people see you in a deep way. Some people start to see someone who is deliberate about how they spend their time, who is not ready to be pushed around by other people's whims. You are not seen as a property that other people can use. Instead, you are seen as a person with your own wants, goals, and deepest wishes. Following through on your goals has a lot of clear benefits. First, there's a sense of being real and honest. Your choices and deeds start to show what you really believe and value, giving an honest and real sense of life. Second, this commitment leads to more self-respect, which in turn leads to more respect for others. Other people have for you. When you show that you value your own time, other people will easily learn to do the same. Having this kind of dedication can also serve as an inspiration for those all around you. People look up to you because of how hard you work and the results you get. Encouraging other people to follow their own interests and dreams. Additionally, setting healthy limits is very important. You learn to say no to requests that don't help you reach your goals when you're dedicated to them. Keeping a healthy balance between meeting other people's wants and your own is important. And yours. In addition, keeping your eye on your own goals and dreams is a good way to plan for walking away from scenarios where your boundaries are crossed or there is abuse going on with you. Being able to stay away from dangerous places is important in many areas of life, including in the job, with your spouse, or even with your friends. For example, in the workplace, having a clear sense of direction can help you find when a situation at work is getting bad or dangerous. If your co-workers don't respect your limits, or if you have too many and unbalanced job, it can be very good for your mental health to know when and how to take a break. Health and moving up in your job. Also, in personal connections like marriages and friendships, being honest about your own goals and ideals can help you tell when these relationships are getting too close, unfair or bad for everyone. Sometimes it's hard to see and accept that a close relationship is doing more harm than good. But you're more likely to reach your goals and wants if you focus on them. When it's time to pull away and look for relationships and settings that are healthier and more balanced. Being able to step back isn't just a way to protect yourself, it's also an act of pride in oneself. It means realizing how valuable you are and that you deserve to be where you are. And relationships where both people treat each other with respect. By using these ideas in a story, the message that is sent is one of strength. And how to protect yourself. It makes people think about how important it is to keep themselves safe from dangerous situations, and to understand how important it is to look for places that are good for their health and mental growth. Focusing on your own path can help you worry less about other people's problems and what other people think. When you focus on yourself, you don't need to look for support from other people as much. You start to understand that you don't need to prove anything to anyone else but yourself. Knowing yourself and having faith in yourself in this way is freeing and necessary for building a real and happy life. The 10th. A strong way to protect yourself is to walk away from abusive people and bad places. Your honor and self-respect. This does not mean you are weak, it means you are strong and aware of yourself. You are choosing not to let your mental health and well-being suffer by making this choice. To be hurt by unhealthy relationships or situations. The way you act also makes it clear to everyone around you that you are in charge of your life. You pick who and what is worth your time and effort. It doesn't mean you don't care about your partners, friends or family. Instead, it shows that even though you love and care about your relationships, you are not count on them to feel good about yourself or happy. Setting and keeping healthy limits shows that you value what other people have to say. Be respectful to others and expect them to do the same for you. When you walk away from a discussion, you send a strong message, especially because in a business setting. This shows the other person that you have other choices and that, while you're interested, you don't have to count on that one deal to make progress. This shows that you have confidence and an abundance attitude, which can be very powerful. Important in talks. Having a lot of money, things or power doesn't mean you have an abundance attitude, a large group of friends. Rather, it's about an inner view, being happy and sure of one's own abilities, being able to succeed and make chances happen. When you think about things this way, you give off an air of self-confidence and independence. That can be very appealing and persuading to other people. This idea also works in personal partnerships. It's normal and important to love and value the people in your life, but it's essential to realize that you don't need them to be happy or feel like you're worth something. With this knowledge, you can build connections that are healthier and more balanced, where there isn't too much dependence. People who are ready to walk away and take the deal seriously are often the best in negotiations. Right place. This is because it shows that you are choosing to do something and not just acting out of despair or need. By being ready to walk away from the table of negotiations if things don't go well, you keep the situation under your control and honest. This point of view not only raises your chances of a good result, but it also makes sure that you stay in a place of power no matter what happens. When you stick to your values and don't cross those lines, you win. Please leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you liked this video. Read the Stoic advice and let us know what you think in the comments. Don't stress out, and see you next time.